A good afternoon, everyone. We are live with a last-minute Group E match between RoterAlarm on the left and MrAaronSnerd on the right in the 2024 A Link to the Past Randomizer Casual Boots Tournament. We have Arya Stark on tracking, and I'm Maniacal on commentary. We have a Group E party here. Arya and I, the other two members of Group E, are excited to see this one. RoterAlarm, a newer German runner, and MrAaronSnerd, an established US-based player, getting this afternoon contest going. This one's a potentially important one for the group. RoterAlarm has been playing really well, but is 0-5, just hasn't caught the breaks needed to convert good runs into wins just yet this tournament, but certainly is very live to do so. And MrAaronSnerd at 2-0 is looking to keep things undefeated, but with 4 races yet to play, 2 against me and 1 more against Arya, a lot left to happen in this group stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this race plays out. I just communicated to the runners that everything is good to go, so I think we'll probably see them readying up and getting things started here in just a moment. A little bit of last-minute organization for this one, but I'm really glad that we're able to showcase this one. I've got a little bit more bandwidth this week than I have in previous weeks, and am trying to leverage that to see if we can't get some more restreams broadcast from this tournament. There have been so many good races so far, and we've gotten to see some of them absolutely on Restream, and I'm hoping this will be another really good one. Like I said, RoterAlarm at 0-5, but 2 of the races have been sort of like GT decided type of races by 1 or 2 minutes. So this should be another good one, and the runners are underway, so we'll probably see them start here very soon. See how the escape treats them today. Yeah, 3 cheers for the tracker, Smirk. Absolutely. Arya is stepping in last minute as well. I was just like, hey, let's get this broadcast made sure RoterAlarm and AaronSnerd were cool with it. And then Arya was like, yeah, I can track that. Stepping up and being tracking MVP, so definitely appreciated. Oh, and I get cheers too. Hot diggity. Thank you, Smirk. This is the positivity that I come for, dude. You're always bringing the positivity. But looks like just 10 arrows in Link's house, but plenty more checks. Both runners, good first couple screens. Like I said, you'd be maybe a little misled by record hearing RoterAlarm is at 0-5 so far, because it's been playing really quite well. Just very tough group. I could very easily also have been like 0x in this one, just kind of the way things break with those randomized group draws in some tournaments, but I'm sure this is not the last we'll see of RoterAlarm on the tournament scene. But to recap the rest of the group, I said Aaron is 2-0 and RoterAlarm is 0-5 thus far. This will be their last group stage race and their last tournament race. I am also in this group. I am 3-0 thus far, and Arya is 2-2. With the 2 wins against RoterAlarm and 1 loss each against me and AaronSnerd. Just we got our map early, so that's good. That means when we open Sanctuary Chest, we won't look like idiots. Arya says Arya's going home soon. I don't know about that, Arya. Arya is our quartile 1 runner in this group and has had a bad break of it, but I mean, you look at that group and you just can't say any one player is making it through, any one player is going home. Aaron, speaking of going home, is on 1 heart. Is going to go out of his way to grab that heart. Interesting that they're at different points in that prize pack. I guess Aaron must have gotten a drop earlier from that small decanter that we saw from RoterAlarm there in the same room. And looks like both are going to go for an 8/. Rotor is getting a little bit caught up. That green guard aggroed, so is going to opt back into a pot and 4. Or I guess 4 and pot. Getting a little caught up. Does get the small key there from Zelda's Cell, and yeah, that green guard was just being a jerk. Yeah, there's a 3-way tie in Group A-B already. PH just beat JP, sorry for the spoilers, late last night, I believe. And that sets PH up for the opportunity, if he can go 2-0 from here, to set up a 3-way first place tie. I think that's Group B as well. So a lot of interesting things happening at this stage of the Casual Boots tournament. A lot of impactful matches left to be played, and then setting the stage for brackets. We're starting to get to the point where, you know, a lot of the races can be very highly swingy, and it's a pretty volatile mode already. So, you know, a lot of fun and entertaining games to be played. Aaron's the first one pushing the mantle today. Did under-push it just a little bit, but got it done. Yeah, we'll see what sort of escape times these runners put up. You know, we will be looking for those 5.0x type of times. You know, sub 5 is doable with the fast ROM now, without necessarily being a world record caliber player. But definitely a pretty rarefied space, those sub 5s. But 5.0x is absolutely a very good time. I'd say Aaron's probably on pace for like a 5.13, if I had to guess. Assuming that nothing really weird happens, and Rotor looking like maybe a low 5.2. But like I was saying about Group B, that's another one of those groups where you just look at the players in it and you just think, man, this group is tough. That one had PH, JP, and Specs all in the same group. So, you know, these are some stacked groups in this Casual Boots tournament. As it turns out, everyone's really good at Casual Boots anymore. Oh, and I was remiss. Aaron was on a better pace than I thought. There's a nice 5.08, 5.09. So good 5.0x from MrAaronSnerd. And RoterAlarm may even squeeze out a high 5.1x here. We'll call that a 5.19. Absolutely. So yeah, both runners just playing well. They've played well every race so far. RoterAlarm, 5 of them. MrAaronSnerd only his 3rd race. We have a blue pendant in Eastern, a crystal in Desert, and I think a regular crystal in Hera, but I'm bad at map checks. My map checks are always super slow, so when I don't know the map check's coming, there's almost no hope. Let's see, we got some green rupees on a tree pole. I think we're probably going to see a pretty conventional Kaz Boots open from both these runners. No one in this group has really been, you know, changing it up, trying to do like a CAC delay or anything. I couldn't see what was on that lumberjack. MrAaronSnerd was able to recognize it from like the 2 to 3 pixels that were visible at the bottom. I certainly was not able to. Let's see. Okay, just 10 arrows. That is a pretty easy one to get without too many pixels visible. But yeah, we won't be needing to do Aghanim today for the lumberjack item. Even if we're short on arrows, probably not going to get the 10 arrows there. But, you know, Aghanim still, you know, in Castle Tower may still be required. We'll see. And 6 bombs, so I think we're in pretty good shape to just head into the village. Both runners good on bombs and rupees. RoterAlarm was thinking about that red rupee, but decided better against it. Definitely agree with the call. Don't really need to fluff the red rupee there. And things are set up. I mean, no flute, no bottle, no like hammer powder. So there's things that are going to be left over in the village. But for the most part, setup is pretty ideal for what you want for your first village trip. We got a Book of Medora and a Master Sword here in Blind's Hut. And a glove. That's quite nice. But yeah, big ups to Adirondack, Rick, and Sigma for getting this one on last minute. I was very much of the mind of like, hey, I'd like to calm this if we can get this going. And Arya stepped in last minute for tracking, got this crewed, and Aaron and RoterAlarm were both on board with getting this restreamed. And Adirondack Rick showed up big, helped get it organized, and got us a channel. So really glad that we're getting to showcase this one. So far, both runners playing real well. Let's see what the bottle vendors got. Just $5. Not the best of scams there. But so far, not too much of a signal for any one thing. We've got a glove, a book, and a Master Sword, which is kind of awkward for desert without a fire source. So we'll see if a fire source shows up. We could potentially have our desert crystal available earlier. But, you know, we're not really gonna want to go to desert without fire, I would think. I think we'll probably see the... So, Aaron, when it comes to South Shore, likes to split Smolderm Cave, Ice Rod Cave, although may do the dam early with lower rupees. I'm not actually sure. RoterAlarm, when we get there, I think tends to do a more conventional dam right route. And so, you know, we may see a little bit of divergence in terms of South Shore routing, and Aaron is going to get the half magic here. And nice 6-second race time. You love to see it. See if RoterAlarm can match. 6 is pretty tough, but so far things look good. Oh, okay, we're just going to slash all the bushes. Yeah, we're probably going to grab that. And gets the 7. There's that map check from Aaron. I do think it was Harrow with a crystal. And Aaron is lower on rupees, maybe going to go straight to Dam. I don't know about Agina here. Whether we see Dam to Agina before doing Smolderms. I think that's maybe a little bit odd with Glove Book early. Just because giving ourselves the 5 checks in the Smolderm Cave as a chance at the fire source seems like a good play. But it's always really interesting to see how players are thinking about the seed differently from how I'm feeling about it. And, you know, we got a hook shot. We definitely want that hook shot. It's funny that we couldn't use the hook shot to clip the dam and save the time for the chest. But, yeah, I mean, that does give us out of logic East Mountain. A lot of checks up there. It's really interesting that the lamp would be basically full East Mountain in logic, as well as fully beatable desert, although, you know, cool loadout for the Land Molas fight. Aaron eventually getting tired of shooting the hook shot at those Smoldorms and just saying, you know what, I'm going to throw a bomb. That works better. We got an Ice Rod and a Heart, no fire source. But pretty decent cave. Always good to get that Ice Rod out of the way. Had a classic Ice Rod hunt yesterday in the PHJP race, and it was just like, well, all right. That's what we're dealing with. Or maybe that was actually Aaron Rotor yesterday was an ice rod hunt as well. I think PHJP was an ice rod. Either way, we aren't going to have an ice rod hunt today. We just get $20 out of Ice Rod Cave. Both runners being thorough on this early loop. Let's see what Aaron chooses to do here. Looks like we got a water walk set up. We'll see if this is just for Hobo. So how does brackets work? I think it's all the group winners are ahead of all of the non-group winners. And then it goes by record, and then I'm not sure if it's random or if it's based on qual seeding or how it's done. But I believe it is first group winners and then group second place, and then by overall record, like 6-0, 5-1, 4-2, and so on. And it looks like Aaron is doing the waterfall and going to check out what's going on the Zora ledge, whereas Rotor is headed for the Hobo here. Aaron is going to dash back out and presumably is going to take this over to the Hobo as well, also get that heart container. But now we're in the situation of having to make some choices. There's a volume choice over toward Eastern. There's Agena as a singleton with the Fireless Desert play as an option. There's sequence breaking the mountain available. A lot of decent options available to our runners, and it looks like RoterAlarm is taking the play into the Eastern area. I like this. 3 items in Sahasrara's closet at least are just available and pretty low cost to get. And there is a bow, so that's gonna play pretty well. If you want to go independent Eastern, you can guarantee that you can finish it. Again, out of logic, no fire source. But looks like Aaron is also going to follow. The primary point of divergence here being that Aaron did go up into Zora's domain. Scout Zora Ledge saw that red rupee, got the waterfall fairy items. But nice hook speed here from Rotor. Got clipped by the blue guard as does happen. But we'll see what Eastern's got. Looks like this is not going to be a major point of divergence for our runners. So we'll see, what does Eastern have today? Smirk becoming rapidly unstoppable. Nice hook speed from Aaron as well. And $300 there in the first chest in Eastern for RoterAlarm. All y'all gamers are so dangerous now, especially in Kaz Boots. It's hard to win. RoterAlarm is going to use that hook shot, hook across to this, remembering conditional loadout routing. Expect the same from Aaron here. I would say Aaron has a slight executional edge in this, but definitely not enough to be insurmountable. I mean, Kaz Boots is so volatile that it's real hard to have an unbeatable edge in Kaz Boots. Which is part of what makes this tournament fun. You get 6 matches, and like one year I was knocked out because like one opponent in one race skipped Hera Basement, and one opponent in one of my races found Ice Rod at Graveyard Ledge, and I was like, yep, that's enough, and like that swung the entire tournament. So yeah, these things happen, and looks like RoterAlarm is, with that big key, is going to do the dark rooms here, get the big key chest. So we did get 350 rupees, so I believe this is a 50-50 situation. And looks like Aaron is also headed into the same 50-50. So again, we got lots of hearts, which is nice. So these anti-fairies can't be too big of bullies. And RoterAlarm gets through those first dark rooms with no issues. Aaron having a little bit of trouble with the key pot, does get it. And it was a 50-50 we didn't need to take. Now, RoterAlarm is not going to finish the dungeon for that last item. is going to say, you know, I don't want to deal with that Igor in the back. Guy's a jerk. And yeah, so not happening. But yeah, I'm seeing calls for Lamp at Agina. That seems not that unlikely, which would put our most knights in logic, which is a little concerning with that early bow. This could be a major point of divergence now. But it's not that unlikely that our item over here, or in desert for that matter, in front with the book, could just be our flute for mountain access. And this nonsense with his Igor, Aaron does get the key, gets through, is exactly what RoterAlarm was bailing on, because that darkroom kind of sucks. And Agina was not the answer, but I think the natural extension of this play is to play straight into desert, even without the fire source. We got to find a fire source at some point, and it's probably going to be a lamp. But yeah, if this is, especially if it's something that could potentially be a deep sphere required item, like a mirror or something, that's going to be a big game for Aaron. Although with the Moon Pearl there on Desert Ledge, it's looking like this might be a skippable spot. We'll see what shows up here. It's not going to be our lamp, unless the fire rod's out there. This would be a wild lamp location, honestly. I kind of want to see the lamp here. Nice fight from Aaron, and just 20 bucks. So that's going to be a corner that, unless Pedestal becomes relevant, that RoterAlarm is going to get away with cutting. And so on our torch, we have a big key, so we got a small key in the big chest, and we are guaranteed at least one item on the right side. I think we pretty much have to go grab it, even though Pearl on its own doesn't do that much. Our tracker very astutely pointing out that Desert is in fact boots locked. That's the sort of knowledge you come here for, that Arya Stark is good for. I can't provide that one. And Aaron finding his Moon Pearl is gonna go get that. Probably also gonna get the hammer. Okay. So that's a Dark World access that we didn't necessarily see coming, but pretty cool. We got the hammer. You had to go into Fireless Desert. Thanks, Seed. So now we're gonna go grab that Moon Pearl, and presumably saving Quit and head into the Dark World, because there's really not a lot of other options. I mean, we could break the mountain and get up to Hera now with that hook shot. But with mountain being a 50-50 to be in logic with flute versus lamp, not really sure. But yeah, I mean, the hammer being so unexpected there, with the potential for fire being pretty real, I like going over, getting the item, and potentially going back to the left side for the Pearl to finish Land Molus on that first trip. Would have looked really silly to grab the Pearl and then ended up finding your lamp over here and just doing a bunch of extra slow, like, outside of Desert Overworld shenanigans. And Cannonball's getting a little bit of bully on, and yo, it's the mirror from the Hype Cave dude. Something about vanity. And 0 chest turns, so you'll love to see it. But mirror, we may see a Hype left route here with that. Interesting that we aren't pivoting toward Bombos tab, and we're just going to go straight toward pod, which hammer, bow. We'll see if this is actually the pod play, or if this is a play Pyramid Catfish, maybe. And Aaron is also going to do Agina. I was wondering how Aaron caught up so much of that back at Eastern time so quickly, and it was because he did Agina after. Interesting call, is going to work out. Pretty risky to make that call to do Agina after diving Fireless Desert, but it did work out in this case. RoterAlarm, a little bit of indecision here about which route to take now that we've gotten Hype and Pyramid out of the way. And is headed toward Mitts Lift Rocks, but doesn't have the Titans Mitts. Dark World map check, we got Green Pendant Skull, Pendant Thieves, kind of gross West Dark World, 5/6s in Meyer and TR for Pyramid Fairy access. So the Pyramid Fairy is behind a lot of stuff today, so probably not going to have to do that, but maybe. Certainly won't be a required Bombos medallion for anything but Ice Palace for Fire Rod out of Pyramid, but of course we can't do that because TR requires that Fire Rod, so we're safe. We're absolutely safe from the real shenanigans of Pyramid Fairy in that regard. And we're going to enter from Kakariko for RoterAlarm. We'll see what Aaron does with this initial Dark World route. Looks like he is going to do that Hype left with that mirror. I like this choice. We'll see if it works. And RoterAlarm is getting that map check done. And does see all these pendants. Now, RoterAlarm likes this early Skullwoods dip. We'll see if this pays out. Skullwoods, by virtue of having a bunch of small keys that actually don't lock chests, is an algorithmically biased, like, pretty solid hotspot for decent items to get placed. And so even though it only has 2 items, it has a fairly high yield of pretty decent stuff. So we'll see if it's got anything good today. RoterAlarm is going to choose to check it, and is going to get snagged by the Wallmaster. So we're going to get more Mummy Statue Room practice here from RoterAlarm. I just find this room kind of sucks. That is a little too far to the right there, but okay, now we're good. We just need to not get Wallmastered, and this should put him safely through to this chest, which is probably a small key, but we'll see. See what we get. Oh, we got a... Oh, baby. What a gross spot for that. When is Aaron finding that? That's a great question. That might have been the best possible hit for RoterAlarm there with a Fire Rod in the vanilla big key chest of Pendant Skullwoods. Thanks, game. I have won tournament matches on the back of that exact item location. In SMZ3, to be fair. And have also lost to that specific item location numerous times. If Aaron knows RoterAlarm's tendency to play Skullwoods early, we may see it as sort of a blocking play to make that, but I would not begrudge anyone for making the skip here, so we'll see what Aaron chooses to do with his double pendant Dark World. And yeah, it looks like we are headed left, so RoterAlarm fans in chat, getting hyped. The index is heating up a little bit here for you. RoterAlarm is going to take that death where it maybe just wanted a little bit of health refill despite having the mirror. Yeah, Brad bringing up a nice point in chat about Aaron having done the back of Eastern. And, of course, Armos Knight's not having anything. Yeah. Really, Eastern not having anything. I mean, it had 350 rupees, 370 rupees all said and done. But it does feel kind of bad. But then again, I mean, Moon Pearl and Hammer were in Fireless Desert, so... I don't know. I don't know if many people are doing Fireless Desert over diving Eastern with a bow. Especially Pendant Eastern, like you can just jam and get everything out of there. I mean, maybe. We did not see a second item in Desert, so it would be on the boss. We saw a map and a compass. Small key, big key hammer. Graveyard Ledge also getting taken out of the equation here. And RoterAlarm is now going to actually get King's Tomb, after having looked longingly at it from the other side of the Mitzlock. I think RoterAlarm may have had one race earlier this tournament where the Mitts were in King's Tomb, and might be thinking about that one. I mean, I would say not even logical double dip required of Desert, but with Moon Pearl where it was, I mean, I don't think we were getting into Skullwoods for that Fire Rod, so I guess it really depends on where our lamp is as to whether or not it was breakable. Like, if lamp's up on Mountain, then maybe we're in the logical double dip space. We'll see where that lamp shows up. Lamp on Mountain's always interesting because it means your flute is out there somewhere in the lower world. And with Myra being a crystal, that's always an interesting one. But yeah, definitely big if. We're getting a little speculative there, but what else are we gonna do? We're watching Thieves Town. So far, nothing too much going on in Thieves Town. Aaron is fully playing Pendant Thieves. We do get a Tempered Sword, which is not actually nothing. Good timing on that dash. It looks like RoterAlarm is also headed into Pendant Thieves. So we're going to get to revisit the front items of Thieves. I don't think there was anything too much going on. So Aaron did go hype left. And so I'm wondering if this is like Thieves up and doing Skullwoods is on the menu after this. I think it really may depend on what we see from Thieves Town. But this potentially, or this has some good route potential. I like the play of doing this, going up, doing Skullwoods, and then mirroring to climb Mountain. I think that's a nice consolidated route that puts you up on the mountain, gets the Old Man Rescue, and gets you to that item density. So we'll see if that's what Aaron's got in mind. That would play pretty well. But for now, we're just finishing up good old Pendant Thieves. Yeah, we could get with the book that Ped check, could get that knowledge. He will have Fire Rod if he goes into Skullwoods to that point, and would thereby be set up to do back of Skullwoods for a second item. I don't think we found a second item in the front still. I think it was just keys and dungeon items and such to the extent that we saw anything from there. Really, I think the Fire Rod is just the big prize up that way. And much like Eastern, Thieves Town not really delivering much. Did deliver at least a Tempered Sword there on RoterAlarm's side as well. Between the Pendant Dungeons, we've gotten a Tempered Sword and 420 rupees. So, yeah, that's great. I didn't see, did we get any other rupees? We got 50 off blind and the 370 in Eastern. And it looks like Aaron is headed into Skullwoods, so that's going to be good for Aaron. Is going to get that Fire Rod. And May just mirror and blind pull Ped say, you know, I've got the Fire Rod, that puts my Armos Knight's kill in logic. Get that green pendant. I haven't been over to Pod yet. I don't hate it. He's going to get his Fire Rod right here, say, cool, that's gross, I hate it. But also, I can just pull Ped. And it is now in logic to do so. because the fake boots in this do not have logical implications. So if it's Ped, this is going to be a pretty big game for Aaron. Yeah, I mean, second item is favored to be in the back just because Moth cannot have or lead to a small key, and every other chest is able to, and there's 3 small keys in the dungeon. So getting Fire Rod and then just jamming back of Skullwoods, killing Moth, especially with the mirror, makes a ton of sense. It is a green pendant. So this could work out huge, and at worst, I mean, it won't feel great if it all turns up empty, but like with that Fire Rod being in the pendant, you at least had to be in your pendant dungeons, so you feel like you've gotten something out of the pendant play. And we do get our first bottle there from Moth as the second item. We're finishing up blind. Was that a hammer hit for the last hit on blind? If so, that's styling a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna mirror straight to Ped. Come on, blind pull this. Do the thing. Okay, good. We're walking all the way up to that sword. We're taking the extra stairwell, and we're gonna get what? Is it good? Oh, it's good. We got $300. But yeah, I mean, it all routed pretty cleanly. It's not gonna feel amazing, but honestly, with Fire Rod and Skullwoods, like, you can't feel too bad about it. But we know that RoterAlarm probably isn't going to finish Skullwoods, probably isn't going to finish Eastern. Did finish Blind, did finish Thieves Town. Also, you got a sword out of your pendant dungeons, which third sword isn't nothing. Third sword makes a lot of things go just a little bit faster. I wonder how early Aaron was like honed in on just playing Ped. After Eastern, I could see it just being like, well, I'm absolutely doing this. And it looks like we are going to get that bumper ledge scout potentially into mountain. Nope, looks like we're getting graveyard ledge. So we see a second bottle there behind a cape that we do not have. Yeah, depending on where Gold Sword is, that tempered, I mean, it just saves time. And so even though you put a decent amount of time into getting to the point where you got it, I mean, it was in attic and back of Pendant Thieves. Doesn't feel too bad. And we are getting that graveyard ledge check. Interesting that we've stayed away from the mountain. Might be that the runners, or at least Aaron, just wants to keep things in logic here and maybe wants to push over toward pod. But yeah, I mean, we do need to find the flute at some point, and flute is 50-50 to be our mountain access. At the same time, like, there is a beatable crystal in Hera up on the mountain. There's a bunch of items there. It's pretty unlikely that things string together in the lower world such that we end up go-moding mountain. Obviously, with, as many randomizer seeds have been generated at this point, what, 7 or 8 years into this game being played competitively, we've pretty much seen everything there is to see. And yeah, it looks like we are headed back to desert. This is a play. I don't know how else to describe this one. There are plenty of other options for RoterAlarm, but this is a beatable crystal. It's just, there's potential. It's an item. We know it's an item. We know it's a crystal. Need to get it. Could be entered faster if we get flute and mitts. But I mean, at least it's ticking something off that you absolutely need to do. And depending on RoterAlarm, speaking of flute in places, there's catfish. But yeah, like, there's potential for it to be relevant. Aaron does pull the flute off of catfish, so that'll double up nicely with the bottle turn in. Aaron will be able to activate his flute and turn in his bottle next time he's over in Kakariko, but I think is going to continue here at least down to Pyramid. I like the saving quit from Pyramid. Go activate flute, turn in the bottle, and then flute back to 5. But looks like Aaron is going to carry the play over into Pod straight away, I think. Yep. Looks like we are headed toward Pod. And RoterAlarm does finish land moles. And it's $20. Yeah, RoterAlarm really has pretty deeply isolated this catfish. Not very high on the list of things that I would be wanting to do. Especially if flute leads to flippers, I could see it being a while before we're back to that green pendant turn in. Just the blue mail. Not nothing, but not anything that is absolutely required. Yeah, there are opportunities to get up to catfish, especially if flippers show up and you can mirror and do Zora and stuff all consolidated with catfish after pod. That could be a decent route to RoterAlarm finding that flute. But it's also possible that that catfish just gets isolated for a while. Flute is really nice because it just saves chunks of time, but a lot of the like overworld back and forth type of routing, we've kind of already knocked it out, I say, as Aaron gets his mitts and gets access to mirror flute smith chain, which makes bad checks less bad, still bad, but less bad. I'm not a huge fan of the Smith sequence, and so we'll see whether he ends up doing those. Yeah, we are approaching the situation for our go mode. We may need a Bombos medallion, possibly. We need Samaria. We need the flippers. That's kind of it, I think. Not seeing anything else. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, lamp logically, obviously, but otherwise, yeah, we're cooking. Where was Ether? Gosh. Must have been in Zora's domain, I suppose. Probably Waterfall. So, otherwise, I don't think there's a lot that Aaron has done other than like finishing the pendants and stuff, which we were pretty keyed into paying attention to. So, really, Waterfall is kind of the only place it could have been. And getting confirmation from our tracker, it was in fact Waterfall. I'm not completely a lunatic. I'm doing my best to watch 2 screens at once. Keep track of them, but haven't failed that bad just yet. But yeah, both runners in pod. Let's see what we find here. I feel like we've got to find our mountain access. Are we gonna get our lamp over here? Or I guess we have the mountain access from Catfish. Never mind. Yeah, so we got mountain, but we're still here in pod. Makes some sense. But yeah. Pod could just be completely empty, though, because of Catfish having that flute. In fact, it's probably better for RoterAlarm if Pod is completely dead here. And Aaron counting his keys. is going this way to do a bottom hammer jump, presumably. Oh, and RoterAlarm's mirroring out because we've already done the right side. Remembers that he got those mitts early and therefore did not need to go back around the right side. And we've got a mushroom in the dark. They do grow there, so makes some sense. And looks like we're navigating okay. Go left and up and heart piece. Okay. So 2 items in the dark maze. But yeah, indices are looking promising for RoterAlarm getting funneled toward that flute. So, yeah, I would say all is not lost. We had an early advantage needle toward RoterAlarm with that fire rod. Aaron was able to get up there, complete the ped play, get the fire rod. Aaron presently has that flute from Catfish advantage. Looks like we're seeing a top route over here. Okay. I think you're at the chest. Nice. Health is a little low, so you do want to be a little bit careful if you're RoterAlarm, but it's interesting. Both runners are doing dark rooms, and I'm paying like way more attention to dark rooms now than otherwise. Good decision to turn and get that right-facing poke. RoterAlarm looks set up to get the second chest out of the dark room. Looks good. Got the mushroom. And Aaron is playing fire rod tag with, oh man, 6 living turtles. A veritable Tortuga party here. And RoterAlarm does make it through the dark room. We'll see. Looks like Dark Pod Basement is on the menu. Like I said, RoterAlarm only started in February, I think he said, February of this year, and has already picked up an absolute ton. It's like just set up to play competitive A Link to the Past Rando rather well. Aaron in pretty good shape here with Helmosaur King. Looks like he did set up a spin speed state to extend that hammer hitbox. If you're wondering what that spin was at the start of the fight, it helps the hammer hitbox get just a little bigger because game is weird and coded well. Does get through the fight quite well. And RoterAlarm picking up a little bit of health here on the way to the basement. See how he's able to handle his Dark Pod Basement. Dark Pod Basement can be a little bit scary. And yeah, Aaron, having already done Catfish and everything, really needs to go activate that flute, get to the mountain. Is just going to save and quit. Already did turn in that green pendant off of Moth. Got the blue mail. Blue mail helped a decent amount there. And let's see, we got... Okay, we're through the switch room. Now we got the little L-shaped hallway with a single turtle. Before we get the real party here, getting ready with the fire rod. Good to see if he knows his nice normalized setup to get this torch. Oh, nope, but he does get the torch, so that's good. Getting a little bullied, but is going to be doing plenty of turtle bullying. As Aaron activates his flute, almost assuredly going to see this be a play either to Mire or Mountain. After turning in this bottle. But RoterAlarm getting a little bullied here in the turtle hallway, but makes it through. I'm not sure if RoterAlarm has any safeties here for this fight, so bless that Helmosaur King is compliant. Another good way of managing this fight is extending the hitbox of the hammer. Oh no, you're one slash away, dude. Oh, that's unfortunate. One more slash there. Got poke credit instead of the spin, and probably just thought he had the spin. Got 2 slashes in. Should need one more slash there to finish off Helm. So I don't know what happened with that initial spin. It must have been a poke. Maybe needed 2 slashes, because I guess the poke would be a Master Sword hit. So maybe had basically 3 Master Sword hits left. I don't actually know damage tables. It looks like we are going to see a play up to the mountain here, trying to get some sense of what's going on with this seed. And Aaron is going to go and finish Desert with Mitt's Flute Mirror. Does get a chance to save a little bit of time here. Yeah, that is going to send RoterAlarm away from the flute for now. You know, we'll see how impactful that ends up being. Does need to get back to Catfish at some point, but it's possible we'll get a decent amount of progression up here on the mountain. Not that there's all that much left to find, but could be some amount of signal for where that flute has to be. Picking up a lamp here would be good for indicating where that flute has to be. Because at this point, RoterAlarm could be looking at it like, well, my mountain access could just be this lamp, and so until I find lamp, I don't need to worry too much about what remains on Lower World. But Aaron is going to go turn that mushroom in, and presumably is going to follow up on the mountain stuff here fairly soon. We do get silvers out of Paradox. Not all that bad. And just a bunch of red rubies. And I expect this to be a flute 1 from Aaron. You could look at, like, I don't even know what the other competing options would be, like flute 8 to do fake flipper to Samarialus Ice. There just aren't a lot of good competing options over the mountain at this point. And looks like we're going to get Hera here, and Ether Tab, or at least Ether Tab, before doing Spiral Cave. This gives, probably the most consolidated overall mountain that RoterAlarm has access to, so it should be good. I'm getting a little bit bullied by squirrels, and finding the boots on Ether Tab, just a green 20 in this particular version of Casual Boots. Yeah, so far the only prize on the mountain has been that silver arrows, so not too much going on just yet. And there's the flippers, though, in Spectacle Rock Cave. That's another one of those that RoterAlarm has isolated just a little bit. Did go down and scout the Spectacle Rock itself. And yeah, RoterAlarm doing a Parapet setup that I do not remember. I don't know. I think there were like 3 or 4 different Harapot setups that were all bomb-based, and I've forgotten all but the trivially easy one. I've learned them all over the years, but definitely haven't got them all completely straight in my head anymore. But looks like we're either going to get an item or a small key here on Moldarm. So let's see how that goes. Guess we're rooting for an item. Don't think that was a poke. Don't think that was a poke either, and it works. Aaron is going to get his green 20. And of course it's the small key, so we have to go do the basement probably. We'll see if RoterAlarm cuts this corner. I kind of like skipping Hera Basement here if I'm RoterAlarm. Mountain's still out of logic, and you got to make up that Helmasaur death somehow. And yeah, is going to skip Hera Basement, but is going to find the flippers here, so that's good. Interesting that we took this over Spiral Cave. So Spiral Cave is now kind of on the outside looking in, but we are going to get the flippers here. This could also potentially have a way of getting back up to that flute. The flippers making Zora's domain just a little more attractive. It looks like we're going for a bomb jump out. I think that's a pixel too far to the left if I saw it correctly. Yeah, the Y alignment looked proper, so I think he was just a pixel too far to the left. It's a little bit blurry on the commentary restream, so it's kind of hard to see. But is climbing again. No cape, no Burna, so don't think this is going to be a spike cave. So okay, it looks like we're going back across the mountain. And I guess we are going to not isolate Spiral Cave, get that in with the Dark Mountain. The other route would have been to drop down, hook across, take the Mitz portal, go up through Super Bunny Cave, do Hookshot Cave, and then mirror into Spiral, which is what I thought RoterAlarm was setting up to do. It's a little bit faster to do it that way. But this is not that much slower. It just kind of feels bad. You're running back and forth across the mountain, and you end up with a weird split of how you get into the Dark World. If you get Samaria over here and end up playing into Turtle Rock, it works out better for RoterAlarm over what I would have suggested. I think Spike Cave takes 14 hearts if you do it real clever. Aaron could probably do it on, I want to say 12, because he has red mail, and you could use bomb damage boosts to get some iframes, which only deal a quarter heart apiece, and he has sufficient bombs, because the tile behind the torches don't actually deal damage. I've not actually tried to do that. It sounds miserable. So I don't encourage anyone to actually do that, but I think it would be doable. But like 14 is kind of the heuristic, and realistically 15 unless your movement's pretty tight. If you just want to like be able to basically walk through the cave. There's Bombos Medallion there in Super Bunny Cave, which is nice. Means we know where all of our medallions are. We'll see what the Turtle Rock medallion is. If it's Ether, we know that's in the Waterfall Cave, and it is Ether, so we aren't going to see RoterAlarm go hover the whole way through the front of Turtle Rock to get the chests in the beginning. Not that we would see that, even if he did have Ether medallion. So we got double Ether, which is also going to actually be pretty good for RoterAlarm in terms of likely funneling to that Flute Plus. Because the Ether medallion's right by the flute, this actually works out pretty good in the sense of you want to get over there, get your flute before you go to Mire area. It should naturally end up getting the Ether medallion on that path. And it looks like we're going to get a blind floating island. Yeah, I guess we didn't get a scout a floating island, or did we? And it was something that we want. See, this is. I thought it was a bottle. I thought we'd seen a green bottle somewhere. It's a red bottle. We did see a green bottle. It was on Bumper Road. We saw a red bottle here. See? I struggle to keep track of these things. But we are going to take that red bottle, and we'll see where RoterAlarm goes. At this point, because Helmasaur King is not in Logic, I think we are kind of funneled down into doing Catfish Zora's Domain. Zora's Domain kind of being an extra thing that we can strap onto plays we were already going to make, although it looks like RoterAlarm is going to ignore the mountain logic and play straight into Swamp, which is fine. But we do want to keep track of the fact that those flippers are still behind either the flute or the lamp. And so if we find the flute or the lamp here, we know the flute being the only lamp candidate. Flute's actually probably here at this point. That'll tell us something about how we're supposed to get to the mountain if we're RoterAlarm. Aaron is going to do Hera Basement, so we'll see if this turns out to be an important item. It would be kind of like an insult to injury sort of situation here for RoterAlarm, where I think it was a very reasonable skip, a skip you're supposed to make if you get that Helmasaur death like he took. Just have to make the time up somewhere. And, you know, sometimes those things will end up biting you. Not in this case, though. I totally missed what was going on in that first chest swamp. So, sorry about that. Oh, it was a cool lamp. There it was. Surprise. Lamp just chilling in Swamp Palace. So now we know that our mountain access was the flute. And in terms of things that are off mountain, not behind flippers, RoterAlarm has Zora and Catfish and Smith Sequence, and I think that's it. Yeah, because the mushroom is behind the lamp from the Pod Dark Maze. Oh, also back of Skullwoods. Good call. Is going to pick up a little bit extra health. Swamp does tend to nickel and dime you. This dungeon is deceptively dangerous, just because there's so many things that hit for like just a harder time. And with Swamp being out of logic and that lamp being the thing, looks like RoterAlarm is going to go straight to the back, not do left side. Again, this is a corner I like cutting here in RoterAlarm's situation. Anytime you're in Swamp out of logic and find out that one of the pieces that you're looking for to get through the game is definitely not here, getting to where that flute is definitely worth doing. Also, I love this this dam music. This is like my favorite part of this MSU by a lot. This remix of the NES Turtles traumatizing dam music. What a great game. And is going to reveal the extra 5 arrows in the safety bomb, but not going to collect either of those. And we'll see if Aaron is going to do left side swamp. In Aaron's situation, okay, it looks like Aaron is setting up for a late left side swamp, which I like this. Beat Argus, kind of find out where the big key is or isn't. If you do left side swamp here before the big key, you end up in a situation where you might have to come back in for just the big chest. I think it ends up losing something like 3 seconds if you grab that small key first. I don't know all my my post-spec clip timings as well as maybe I should. I know it's not as efficient. Nice Argus fight there from RoterAlarm. And I think RoterAlarm is still on green mail, actually, because the blue mail on green pendant turn-in and the red mail in Mire Shed are both things that he doesn't have access to. So, you know, definitely getting hit pretty hard by most of the things that are out there. Good Good Phelps RNG here for Aaron. He's able to get a clean left swim, 0 hits. And looks like RoterAlarm is headed somewhere. Where, I don't know yet. I'm hoping this is to the Catfish. Oh, no, looks like it's to Hylia. What did we even see here? It's not a bad time to get Hylia. Oh, it was Burna. Okay, so that gives us our logical spike cave. Okay. Also a decent safety. And looks like we're going to take this straight into Ice Palace, which is actually kind of nice. We got half magic. So business is booming, and Aaron is not going back into Swamp immediately. He is going to Bombos Tablet. This is a new check we've not seen. It's interesting. If left side Swamp isn't anything, like if this overworld doesn't turn up anything, we're in a situation where there's some potential, as long as RoterAlarm keeps track of the logic, that mitigating that pod death could be doable. Let's see. This is the part where I go off the rails. If we'd already seen that before, I apologize. It's hard to watch one runner for me and talk about the game, let alone watch two. I don't know how people do it with like 4 runners on stream. I just completely fall apart at that point. Yeah, it was new to me. I like PTG Mock's philosophy on this. I didn't see it, it's new. Both runners into Ice Palace. So at this point, we got Ether. We need Samaria for Meyer and Turtle Rock. And that's for Aaron. That's kind of it. Like we're Samaria from Go mode. RoterAlarm does need to separately find the Ether Medallion and the Flute, but those are both kind of in the same spot. So if Samaria's here, RoterAlarm doesn't really have a lot of other options. Aaron would find Samaria as well. This would be an interesting situation. Aaron would still be in a position of being in the lead just by virtue of having pod finished. So I'm trying to think of what the outs are for RoterAlarm here, assuming Aaron doesn't have some sort of like major disaster. And RoterAlarm, remembering he has no small key. It's weird routing ice anymore without Samaria. I empathize. And I actually like doing solo comms every once in a while. It's not too bad. It means I don't end up talking over someone and feeling bad about it, right? It's piece of heart there at Freezors. And we'll see. It looks like Aaron might be being aggressive about finishing this Ice Palace. Was also aggressive about leaving Swamp. So this is interesting. If Samaria's over here, this is kind of letting RoterAlarm back into it. If Aaron doesn't go back in, but maybe we got all 3. Was that heart piece the 3rd? That would make more sense. I don't necessarily see making that skip here for Aaron otherwise, just because, I mean, yeah, you've done some extra pendant stuff, but yeah, we'll see. RoterAlarm does have the big key, so we'll see where the items all turn out to be. Okay, yeah, so that was not an item. I think Aaron must have gotten 3. Either way, looks like there's not going to be any sort of punishment. Because RoterAlarm has shown us all of the items from Ice Palace, and none of them is the Cane of Samaria. Yeah. Good point that Ice is in fact Samaria locked. I don't know that there are actual implications to that here. I don't think that it can appreciably affect any sort of decisions our runners would make. RoterAlarm is in a situation of... Oh, dude. Oh, man, that ice cube. All right, we made it through. Wasn't scared for a minute. And Aaron is onto the Smith sequence. Much better with the flute than without. And RoterAlarm, no, dude. No, we're doing Zora without Catfish. That ain't good. Alright, this might be the end of our Catfish consolidation hopes. Not that Ether is worth all that much without Samaria and without Flute. So, like, it's not actually as bad as it could be, but it just means that it's going to take us a little bit longer to get back to that Catfish. If it was Flute in the waterfall and then Ether on Catfish, that would have been much, much worse. Yeah, Zora has Cane. We're feeling very frisky with Turtle Rock, unfortunately. Zora does not have Cane today, so we're A-okay. That's one that we're probably not going to see from Aaron. Looks like we're at the point of making the play into Caneless Mire. I'm trying to think of what Aaron even has left. There's not a lot. There's Burna / Spike Cave, I think. And that might actually be the only thing other than Mire area that Aaron's got left. Oh, and Swamp, the left side Swamp, Hera Basement. No, Aaron did Hera Basement. Aaron definitely did Hera Basement. It wasn't anything good. It was like 10 arrows or something. But however many items are on left side Swamp is the thing, I think. Either way, we're into Mire. Mire is the choice that was made. And I honestly think it's probably the highest value choice that Aaron had left available. Getting the small keys out of the way early here in Mire. And RoterAlarm is going to do the Smith sequence. Makes a lot of sense with Mitz being in first chest pod. That this is logical and could very reasonably be the place where that flute is hiding. We know it's at Catfish, but this is, in terms of volume of items, one of the best things that RoterAlarm has logically left. And we got a big key there on left side Mire, but looks like Aaron is going to be thorough here. You went into Samarialess Mire, overdoing left side Swamp, and now this is the situation that we have. We're doing left side Mire situation. We'll see if it turns out to be anything. 2 items in Mire, one of which could be on Vitreous. We haven't seen any items just yet. We've seen 2 small keys and a big key. RoterAlarm is going to save and quit to turn in this purple chest. Let's see, is it Samaria? It is a compass. So, definitely skippable, but unless both items show up here in the next 3 checks, we're probably going back for that unless one of these items is Samaria, although it's pretty heavily favored that one of these items is probably going to be Samaria. Unless we're... yeah, okay, there it is. Unless we're finding our way all the way back to Mire. So Samaria is flute-locked. RoterAlarm is going to get funneled down to Catfish. In fact, we might actually be at that point right now where we're going back to Catfish. As long as RoterAlarm remembers the flippers are on the mountain, which is flute-locked, and the lamp is flipper-locked, therefore Helmasaur King is not the answer, I think we should be okay. And I mean, at this point you might, since you know it's flute, doing Catfish, activating flute, and fluting back to 5, I think is actually better than doing pod and then doing the run up to Catfish. But it's pretty close. But yeah, Aaron is in go mode, does just need to beat the seed at this point. Has put himself in pretty good situation to advance to 3-0 here in Group E. But you know, nothing is done just yet. Still has to finish Mire, do all of Turtle Rock, do all of Ganon's Tower. So we're looking at, you know, high 120s type of seed, although, you know, it's a full clear, so I mean, pulled pet at something like 40 minutes. So you weren't going to get around full clearing too much in this one. I mean, had left side swamp left, and I guess that's kind of it. Spike Cave. And RoterAlarm is about to find the nicest of flutes here. Does preemptively offer up those slashes, because this is a last location logically. So good news is has kept track of the logic as it relates to the mountain, the flippers, the lamp. And does put it all back together to hone in on Catfish to get that flute, and is going to go and activate that flute. Now, with that, I would like to see the go back and finish Helmasaur King happen first. I think Helma had an item. Not actually certain. If Helma doesn't have an item, then maybe you just go jam Mire. At this point, oh, Arya Stark. Helma has no item, so yeah, you can finish Helma whenever you like. You know, maybe you finish Helma to just like take a little bit of a break. But honestly, you know, there's possibility of like a gold sword or something that could potentially make the Helma fight just slightly faster. So staying away from pod, you can flute back to it pretty much whenever. Makes sense. So here, probably fluting to 6, but we'll see. Yep, looks like flute to 6 it is. Not going to worry about Spooky and our altitude variable, which is set by the bird here, unless we're doing a different Spooky setup. But is at least going to do Mire Shed. Find out Mire is that Ether Medallion that we got from Waterfall. And we'll see what grand things Turtle has. RoterAlarm finally getting a Blue Mail upgrade. Nice safety there with 15 hearts. Rounders have been running around without a lot of safeties. I mean, Aaron got the red mail pretty early, but you know, lack of cape, lack of Berna being on Highly Island pretty late behind those flippers, and lack of powder, and just the bottles also showing up kind of late. Seed had potential to be a little bit more executionally challenging than a lot of Kazboot's seeds. Not quite the one from yesterday that PH and JP raced, where like there were no hearts for the first 40 minutes, but still maybe more challenging than the average Kazboot seed. Not too much going on yet in Turtle Rock here. We got small keys, so we're gonna keep on going. Turtle Rock probably not going to be all that different. Go mode versus full clear, so not that you can have anything but a go mode Turtle Rock in this seed. Let's see, would it have been possible? You would have had to get Ether Flute, Samaria out of Mire behind all that. You might have been able to get go mode flippers in this one if you ignore your lamp. But almost everyone's pretty much having a go mode Samaria in this one. Unless you skipped your... Or no, because Samaria's hard behind Ether and Flute, so you can't like split those. I think it's pretty much a go mode Samaria seed. And Aaron is going to get the lava chest. Remembers here that he does not yet have the big key, and there it is. So dodges that potential little hiccup. And a little high on that screen, wasn't going to quite get that dash into the lower side of that door. And looks like RoterAlarm is going to steal the key. This is an interesting call. I guess just really wanted to hit the crystal switch, get this lobby chest out of the way. Is going to find that Cane of Samaria. So that is going to be go mode for RoterAlarm as well. Could also have been a go mode Fire Rod seed. Thanks, I hate it. But yeah, not wrong. Very possible. Yeah. I detect no lies. Thankfully, that didn't happen to either of our runners. And Crystal Roller has a small key, so I'm going to keep on keeping on here and get our last small key on Laser Bridge. Really not a lot you could dodge in this Turtle Rock with the vanilla big key there. So this is just kind of going to be a wash or down to only executional differences in Turtle Rock. RoterAlarm not even screwing around with that spike, just saying, you know what, I'm just going to use Burna. Not get bullied. Speaking of getting bullied, we'll see if Aaron's got his laser skip on point. Nice first chest small key there. RoterAlarm just about into his Vitreous fight. And Cane of Burna is so much better on fast round than it was before. Looks like we're getting some pokes overriding some silver arrows, so it's weird. Not every day we get to see a silver arrow sticking out of one of the little Vitreous eyeballs. This last eyeball is being a little cagey. So the eyeballs come out to wherever you're standing when they aggro. And so, because RoterAlarm was like real close up to the goo there, the eyeball was just kind of like poking out real quick and then going back in to its safe goo nest. Didn't work out great, but does get the fight done. Is pretty much behind by a finishing pod and a pure Turtle Rock. So we're going to be over into Ganon's Tower soon. We'll see how Aaron chooses to route this. I think yesterday in their race, Aaron used a hope route. We'll see what ends up happening this time. So many different ways that you can defensively route Ganon's tower, and most of them are just only slightly different from one another. There are a few bad routes, and every once in a while you'll see people do them, but most routes are pretty... Most common routes are pretty defensible. RoterAlarm is remembering that he does have to go back and finish Helmasaur King. And it looks like we're Stalfos routing today. Stalfos routing or rando rushing, we'll see. There's that powder. Aaron wants nothing to do with that powder. Absolutely not. I mean, red mail, half magic, 12 hearts. And we're setting up to mirror, so it looks like a conventional Stalfos route. We'll see if it loses any time to Hope Compass. I mean, Hope Compass is going to be your fastest to the big key mean field, but only if you get a small key in Hope, which did not happen this seed. So if it's in Compass Room, Stalfos routers are saving something like 3 minutes now against expectation. You know, we could look at it, you know, in terms of EV, and it's kind of closer to a push, but in this one, there's a potential like 3-minute time loss for the folks who were trying to do Hope Compass and instead ended up on Hope Left. So we'll see if a big key is here. Also, maybe Hope Route just saves the minute. Looking more like that. Yeah, Hope Route's going to save a minute. Let's see if we're going to play full right here, if we're going to turn around after this small key. Okay, yep. So it looks like it is a... I think this is like the Wayne route. I can't keep track of the nomenclature for all of them. But it's going to get to hookshot down the right side of the room here, as RoterAlarm takes care of the Helmasaur King Bugaboo, does get that dungeon map, and just has to go up and do Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower. So we'll see. Was it a rando rush day? Would rando rushers have won the day, or are we going all the way to Ice Armos? If we get all the way to Tile Room, we're back to Hope Compass Left being in the advantage seat just because of the lowest cumulative time to 22. This is all benchmarked off of some room times from Structural Mike, I think, is who labbed most of it out. So, you know, ultimately, it's up to each person to kind of lab it out on their own to figure out what their fastest routes are. Nice gold sword here in Rando Room. And it looks like we're headed toward Ice Armos. We're taking a Hera route over to Turtle Rock today for RoterAlarm. Not that much slower than other routes, so yeah, every once in a while you just kind of want to see some different screens. Aaron losing some of the time back that he saved by not grabbing that powder there, by having to wait the extra like half cycle there on the anti-fairy. But get through, nice Ice Armos fight, and we'll see. Oh, that was only a few frames early. Hey, there's a vanilla big key. And we're getting some bonus arrows too, but we're not going to open that top right chest. We're into the climb. climb's always fun because you get these rooms that are basically just pure execution and reading the enemy RNGs that you get. Is going to say no to that full decanter drop, as RoterAlarm is into Turtle Rock, not all that far behind, all things considered. Yeah, just get to kick back and enjoy the tunes here in the climb. Yeah. Aaron looking to be didn't quite get Gannonballsy there. At least bailed before taking the before running into the top left of that cannonball and bouncing off the left side of the conveyor there, or the walkway rather. It's not actually moving; just the cannonballs are moving, so it is not a conveyor. But decent start to Gauntlet. These blue Zaziks are being jerks. That one's hiding behind the BMOS, like we're not going to see it. But Aaron is wiser than that. Did we menu off of silver arrows for some reason? Oh no, we're locking ourselves in RoterAlarm. A little bit of peg prison there. But we get through chomps. We're not off of silver arrows anymore, if we were. But it looked like we shot an arrow into one of the Zaziks and it didn't die somehow, so... Either way, pretty reasonable gauntlet into Land Mode 2 for Aaron. Can't be thinking you lost too much time. RoterAlarm passing up the 5 arrows there, despite only having 6 arrows. I would have definitely grabbed the safety arrows there in Turtle Rock, out of the middle pot there. Yeah, menuing on and off your silvers was very much like a vanilla or slow ROM sort of thing. It was notable for lag reduction before everything was forced onto fast ROM, but everything that we're running right now is swapping all of the memory usage over into the fast ROM. So, like I was saying, things like Cane of Burna just get way more powerful because the extra particle generation just doesn't generate lag the same way that it's supposed to. So, you know, things run a lot smoother, and silvers generate way less lag. We'll see. Maybe we'll even get some Burn Again in strats here from Aaron. We have no cape, so hopes for Burna are alive for the Ganon fight. Oh yeah, no Burna, he didn't grab it. Shucks. Well, maybe if RoterAlarm finishes, we'll get some Burn Again. Because Burn Again is just funny. Like, that fight used to chug on slow ROM, and now it's just like, Burner's just spinning, everything's going on in the fight, the Ganon sprite's enormous, and nothing cares. But you're right, Aaron did not ever grab Cane of Burna from Hylia Island. See, our tracker is not only correcting me, also has it accurately tracked on the tracker if I just look at the heckin' bottom of the screen. Inexcusable. Oh, we went the wrong way in this maze. We're going this way. Okay, so that's actually interesting. That might actually have been RoterAlarm's plan with routing this maze, just to save the health. If you're fast, you end up beating that first fire bar, but if you're slow, that actually times it out that it's a little wider of a window for not taking any damage. So kind of a cool route there on the platform maze from RoterAlarm, and Aaron is dropping into Ganon. Has a gold sword, silver arrows, gets the trident double spin anyway, just showing off. Is going to do some inside the ring strats here. Nice dash poke Ganon. Or just dash Ganon, rather. Not actually dash pokes. Does get a ring of fire bats here, and does need to be a little careful. Don't want to fall off the edge. But yeah, things look like they're going pretty well now. And assuming nothing weird happens, is going to finish this in like a low to mid 132 probably. And should take first place, but we'll see. Still have to get 3 more arrows into this Ganon. Does go for Torch Glitch, so is going to take a little bit extra time here, not set up a triple or anything. Just nice, cozy, slow Ganon fight. Staying away from where the pig's going to land, and RoterAlarm wrapping up Trinex as Aaron wraps up his Ganon fight. So RoterAlarm will be probably into GT here, or at least out of TR and on the way to GT as Aaron crosses the bridge. But Aaron finishing with an official time of 1:32.25. Timer is accurate. Is going to win this race, advance to 3-0. And RoterAlarm, seeing that, is going to very shortly forfeit and extend the GG. So GG's to both runners, honestly. Really good race. Very, very interesting race with that fire rod, flute, all of the things going on around the pedestal play that Aaron made. It was good to see. But I think this is about where things are going to end for RoterAlarm's tournament. But glad we're able to get this this match featured on a restream. So big thanks again to both the runners, also to Arya Stark Tracking, Rick for setting this up last minute, Sigma as well for helping with the cropping and the setup. And we were joined by MrAaronSnerd, our winner today. GG, dude.
GG's.
That was a fun one. So, skipping Swamp and then doing Mire cutscene. What's going on? What was the play?
Well, because at that point it was basically skip one, keep the other, because there's one in left side swap. But if I leave Mire, period, then I've gotten 3 bag of isolated stuff, basically, right? Like Mire, Swamp, and Ice. And I know one was in each, so I'd rather not leave Mire if I don't need to, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea. Yeah.
Yep. Very reasonable. Play into Eastern. When you saw the 2 West Dark World pendants, were you kind of committed ped? I mean, obviously, with Fire Rod being in mid Skull Woods, like you weren't sure going into Skull that you were going to finish it, but like, was that something you were eyeing when Eastern broke with nothing relevant?
Honestly, no, but as soon as I saw Fire Rod, I'm like, I just gotta do it anyways, because why not? We're already here.
Yeah, I mean, once you get one item and you're biased to the second item being in the back, and you've got 2 pendants already cleared,
yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, and the best part was that the second item was in the back, and I was like, sweet, okay.
Yeah,
at least I know it's there.
Wasn't it your first bottle too? Like,
yeah, great.
That was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So I didn't feel great after doing ped and getting nothing, obviously, but the Fire Rod being where it is kind of has felt okay. And then that flute was helpful as well. I know that.
Yeah, flute was big.
Yeah.
Fire Rod was big.
Yeah.
Hammer Moon Pearl was kind of a pretty relevant thing, but like Fireless Desert really. So like you can't feel too bad about that one.
Yeah, it did feel great at the beginning, but I was like, whatever. Like, there's 40 million other checks now. It's not a big deal. Like, it happens, right?
Yep. And you expect most players to kind of end up on that particular situation. Yeah. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Seed was kind of trash, but not like the worst.
Oh, actually, yesterday's I felt worse about yesterday's than I did today's. But today's was like, okay, I know where I should have skipped, but at the same time, like, it could be there. If you do the thing, it could be there, right? But it's okay.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like getting through the pendants was all that costly. It wasn't clear how bad you felt or should have felt about pulling ped in this one, but honestly, with, like you said, the Fire Rod, and then also the Gold Sword was kind of late, and Tempered out of Thieves' Attic was like not negligible.
Yeah, that did do all that. Picks up time, right? If you don't go to Thieves, you get time back from doing all of that crap, but at least you get some support with the sword, right? So
and
it did play out a little bit.
Yeah, and are we really dodging Pendant Thieves with Samaria in Mire and the Flute being on Catfish. Like, we're probably not actually dodging Thieves Town in any reasonable route in this, unless you're like one of those maniacs who like hard commits to dodging some pendant for arbitrary reasons.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was too that Fire Rod didn't open really much anything just except for Pedestal. So it's like, well, I'm already here, might as well do it. And then I think when I found the Spurs, that didn't feel awesome because I was just like, oh, those were basically available, not in Logic, but they were available pretty much at any point in the beginning of the seed. I'm like, great, that doesn't feel good. So, but that ended up being like, okay, well, I knew if it was Samaria and Ice, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna rush through Swamp, rush through Ice, and then full clear Mire for the sake of if I need to go back into Swamp or Ice, at least it's only 2 places and not 3.
Yeah, Ice, I think you had 1 item left in, is that right?
Yeah, so I had 1 in Swamp, one in Ice, and I was like, okay, well, can leave 1 in 1 and then have to just 50-50 pick it, but at least it's options, right? Whereas I didn't want to leave 3 options of things or places that, could be, but that's, that is what it is, right?
Yeah, and just wanted to comment, RoterAlarm is declining on joining for the interview on account of being German, and I would not want to have to conduct an interview in German. So I totally understand. But GG's to RoterAlarm as well. Yeah. Solid tournament outing. And ending with the 06 result, unfortunately, but just tough group draw. Like,
yeah, seriously,
this group is
in a couple other groups, they could easily be 4-2, 5-1, 6-0.
Yeah,
like, they're a good player. Like, they are.
I was really impressed by just the general movement and the consistency, and like even adaptively between like the first race that I saw and this, like just picking up some strats and doing some new things. It looked like good progress. So definitely big ups to RoterAlarm for a solid run in a first tournament like this.
Absolutely, yeah. No doubt about it. They'll be back and they'll be they'll be good. So you gotta watch out for them.
Yeah, and so Aaron, this advances you to 3-0 in the group. You're looking to be in reasonable position to have a shot into brackets, but like it's very much not done yet. When we racing, bud?
Oh, we'll figure that out, but it's gotta come up soon, right?
Yeah, we got like a week or so left to get it done. But
oh, goodness, that is some time.
Yeah, we gotta get 2 in, and then we each have 1 left with our excellent tracker who stepped in last minute for this, Arya Stark.
Appreciate them very much, and also a group member. So
Yeah, exactly. It was a groupie party here. It was great.
Yeah, times you're literally a groupie party. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but do you and I don't think you and Arya have your second match scheduled
not
yet.
Yeah, okay. Not yet. We got to do that, but yeah, it's gonna be coming up.
Yeah, and Arya and I similarly have 1 more to schedule, so we got to get all that sorted. But definitely plenty more impactful Group E races to be run.
Yeah.
We'll see when those end up on the calendar. Anything else that you wanted to share about this one?
No, honestly, this at least this ran a little bit better, load a little bit better. Was a nice efficient route to the ped, but then after that I didn't feel good. But I sort of just picked up and started rushing through, slapping through crystals, which thank God. But also again, GG's to RoterAlarm. Give them a look. They're newer. I think they're relatively newer, maybe not in the German community, but starting to get into these tournaments. So give them a shout, give them a look, and you'll probably see them again. I have no doubt about it, because they are not short of talent. So
yeah, we got a CS in the main tournament, and GG's to the group, which thanks RoterAlarm for the GG's. But looking forward to seeing what he's able to get put together come the main tournament, which is I mean, that's going to be weird playing that in the fall, but it's coming up soon.
It is coming up soon. I can promise that. I don't know dates, but I can promise it's coming soon.
I was gonna say I'll be trying to do it again probably. I don't see myself skipping it.
No.
I got to make it out of groups one of these years in the main tournament. Like I get knocked out in groups every year, dude.
Don't we all? Hey, you'll be out of groups hopefully in this tournament, right?
That is very much TBD.
Yeah.
I made it out of groups last year in Kaz Boots. This year, who knows? I mean, it's very conceivable. Just like an 0-3 from here, you end up 5-1. Aria's 4-2. I'm 3-3, and
that's true. Yeah, we have a lot of.
There's a lot of rando left to be played, and
yeah, we got a lot of impactful matches coming up.
I was gonna say very much could be on the outside looking in.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, if there's not anything else, I think that's going to do it for us for this nice afternoon Group E party. But big thanks again to RoterAlarm and MrAaronSnerd for letting us restream the match. GG's to both those guys. Excellent race. Was a lot of fun. And huge thanks also to Arya Stark for coming in last minute on the tracking duties. And thanks for putting up with me talking to y'all for 2 hours.
Shout outs to Maniacal for stepping in and putting this on Restream. This is great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to see more of these get restreamed to like feature a variety of runners, especially runners who are doing well, but like probably or maybe aren't going to make it into brackets where we hopefully will see more restreams picked up.
I would love that. Yeah, I'm going to be pushing.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the folks who haven't been able to be on Restream who are finding themselves in competitive matches and see if we can't get those cast. I know there's another one, I think Jesse versus Legendary Moon, that they're trying to get put together for later tonight for 9 Eastern. I'm not sure if that's got a channel just yet. She'll let me take a look at the schedule.
It'll eventually get one. I'm not sure if it has one yet, but it will likely get one because it's got a full crew. So, yep, we got SG6 actually. So, perfect.
Oh, awesome. So, yeah, that's coming up on SpeedGaming 6 at 10, just an hour later. Looks like SpeedGaming 2 for JJo36 for Secretly a Sliver. I think that they've both been on a restream already before this tournament.
Yeah.
And I think Jesse was on one versus Kaysden. I think that match got picked up.
That was an individual restream.
Okay. But yeah, lots of good games coming up.
Yeah, there's gonna be a good few games coming up. If you want to volunteer, please feel free. Like, you don't have to have any experience to commentate, track. We'll help you out if you're worried. We're just happy to have volunteers. So don't be afraid. We promise we'll help out. This is coming from an admin of the tournament, so feel free to sign up, volunteer, and we'll get you settled and get situated.
Yeah, Aaron with the admin hat on doing the advertisement. I should have made it pretty clear that you do not need extensive skill or talent to commentate these. You just need to be willing to talk about Randomizer for a couple hours and hopefully not lie too much or be incorrect too much. But
everybody will be fine.
Yeah, it's good to get these crewed. What was not featuring this one with Aaron leveraging admin privilege, really, I wanted to be sure we got RoterAlarm on one because, like I said, I was really impressed by his play. Definitely a good run in a first sort of larger community tournament. I don't know if he's done any smaller ones, but said he'd started in like February, so he's coming along great. But
yeah, the execution looks great and it's coming along, so we're excited to have them in the community for sure.
Yeah. Anything else from you, Aaron?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for getting us on. Love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank y'all for hanging out. We got a few hours. Looks like about 5 hours until the Group K matchup, Legendary Moon versus Radical Sniper 99, or Jesse is on SG6, assuming Moon's internet comes back. But for now, that's going to do it. Going to take a break, and we will catch y'all in a handful of hours. Take it easy.